I've been with CAFE for nearly 2 years, and it's been a pleasure being involved in such an exciting project. More importantly, in that brief period of time, we have seen changes, progress being made, and that certainly has been very exciting to see happen. But that's not always been the case. There has been a stereotype perception that disabled fans were always complaining, and it was inconvenient for the clubs, and they were always moaning about this and moaning about that. So it became a problem for the clubs. Football clubs would sweep correspondence under the carpet, not deal with it, put their head in the sands, and not really deal with the issues that were brought to their attention. And there were very few DSAs. They're very thin on the ground, and that didn't help progress, unfortunately. And also, an earlier speaker mentioned it as well, many of the football clubs had allowed disabled fans in free of charge. And there was an attitude, well, you know, why are you complaining? It's free, we're doing you a favour. And all that has to change. And it is changing. And as we move to today and in the future, we're seeing more disabled supporters associations getting established, both at club level and at national level. And that's a great thing to see. And that, when we have these associations, we can see that disabled fans are empowered to speak for themselves. As soon as they join together, they feel that empowerment, and that helps them to speak for themselves and move forward. One of the other things we have to have with the new DSAs, and we always make sure this point is made, is to have a modern pan-disability approach. Again, an earlier speaker mentioned that there's a perception perhaps that disabled fans are those that are in wheelchairs, but we mustn't forget the fans that have learning difficulties, hard of hearing, partially sighted, and ambulant disabled. So we must include everybody in these DSAs and look after all of their interests, not just the wheelchair fans. Existing DSAs, I've seen experience that when DSAs have been in place and they've worked with the clubs, there have been good results. In most cases, the end result on a problem has seen improvements. Now, I've just mentioned an example of 4 of the DSAs that have been in place for some time. Level playing field, as you know, in England has been in place for many years, formerly known as NADS, National Association of Disabled Supporters, and that's a very well-established organisation that's done a lot of work in England. Then there's the BBAG in Germany, which I believe was formed in 1999 to improve accessible facilities for German disabled fans. And then one of our more recent fans, recent disabled supporters associations, now I'm going to have a go at this, Klub Kibikov Nipleno Spravic. No, probably got that wrong, but I tried my hardest anyway, from Poland, and we're going to hear something from one of their representatives in a minute. And I've mentioned Hearts Disabled Supporters Club in Scotland, which has been in place for 20 years, and it's a privilege that I've been involved in that club for 20 years as well. The new DSAs that are all over Europe, there's too many to list, which is good news. We need to have 3 or 4 slides to list them all, so that's great news. And I've been really impressed by the work that's been carried out with DSAs and new ones and existing ones in the countries that I've been involved in Northern Ireland, Republic of Ireland, France, Belgium and Netherlands. And it's really been an eye-opener and a great privilege to work with these people that run these DSAs. As new DSAs start up, once people see the benefit of it, I'm always struck by the enthusiasm that the members have to get this up and running and start a DSA. And in most cases, I have to say, the football club have supported the setting up of a DSA and have engaged from the very beginning and worked with the DSA. And that's very important to get the football club support. And we see the DSAs get involved in a self-advocacy model. They start to take control of decisions, take control of what they want to happen, what they want to discuss. And the other thing that the groups need to be is user-led. It's important that these DSAs are led by the users, by the customers, by the people who need things fixed so they can go and enjoy a game of football. And one of the things we do see is early successes. Sometimes there's been a problem that's been there for a couple of years. The groups form, they talk to the club, and very quickly it can be resolved. And that certainly, early successes then give the DSA the confidence to go on and deal with other issues. Now, can they make a difference, the DSAs? Well, yes. From day one, you have disabled people at the table. The key important people, as I said, that needs improvements in stadiums so they can go and watch football. Again, back to the user-led organisation. It's imperative that the disabled people are involved in leading these organisations because they add value, it becomes more effective, and they are the authentic voices of the users. And disabled people know best. They know how they need to get into the stadium. They know how they need access into the toilet. They know how they want to approach a refreshment stand and the view of the match, etc. They know best. So their opinions are certainly the most important ones. We also see improved relationships with a football club. And many of the cases I've seen, the clubs and the disabled supporters have been that far away and they've moved closer, and both sides have benefited. Historical issues are resolved. I've seen certain circumstances where there's been a problem for 5 years, and forming the DSA, meeting with the club, a couple of minutes, discussion, and it's fixed. It also helps the football club gain better awareness of disabled issues, which is very important as we move through the years. In terms of stadium upgrades, we need a two-way discussion between the club and the disabled fans, and by having that discussion, hopefully the upgrades will be a success and we won't have to look at them again once they're in place because there wasn't enough discussion at the very beginning. We want the DSAs to promote and share a good practice for accessible facilities and services. Again, not forgetting the pan-disability approach, that all types of disabilities should be catered for to allow everybody to go and watch the football game. And again, when it comes to new stadium builds, we need user-led consultation from the disabled people who know best on new stadium builds, working with the clubs, avoids perhaps a lot of pitfalls later on, and again, focusing on good practice and also the pan-disability approach to make sure everybody is catered for. Another benefit of the DSAs is networking, where DSAs, and I know this happens already, share experiences and information. And it can become very, very helpful if someone is, a disabled person is attending an away game, either a domestic league or a European tie, where they can make contact with someone else at another club and find out some information that's going to make their life easier getting into the football. Also, DSAs at grassroots level can meet with other disabled groups in the community and share experiences and share ideas and work with each other. And there's always a benefit that comes from that. And again, social contact is another benefit of having DSAs. In cases where I've visited DSAs or I meet other, I maybe go to a game and I meet the DSA when I'm at the match, there's always a nice social contact, always a bit of banter and things like that, and that's good as well. And we want to maybe take that a step further into DSA twinning. I think everybody's familiar with cities and towns being twinning, and CAFE would very much like to see DSAs twin with each other, and I'd like to come back to that in a minute, if I may. And finally, the DSAs, we want them to keep spreading this word of spreading the word of total football, total access, which has been mentioned in many of the earlier slides, and it obviously is an excellent slogan. Now, before I mention the twinning, and the gentleman from Groningen, if is around somewhere, if you could just grab a seat. We do have two gentlemen who we're going to make a brief statement from the club that I mentioned before, which actually is the supporters of, is it Slash Wrocław?
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paweł Parus. This is Michael. We are from Poland, from Wrocław. I represent the Association of Disabled Supporters Club. Thank you for inviting your organization at this conference. Thank you, Joyce.
That's a pleasure.
Michael, please.
The Association of Disabled Supporters Club was founded 3 years ago at the Śląsk Wrocław Club. We are the first organization in Poland bringing together supporters with disabilities. When our organization was set up, there were a few members only. Today we have almost 100 and new people are wanting to join. Information on our activities is provided via the website, through the local media, and from the Śląsk Wrocław Club. We go to away games by special buses all over Poland.
On every trip, we take 30, 40 people would not pay for transportation or for a hot meal or a ticket for the match. Everything is financed with public funds. Right?
We also encourage others in Poland to start up groups of supporters with disabilities, and two have started up in Krakow and Warsaw. We hope that there will be more in the future, working together with Cafe to remove barriers and follow their football club at home and away matches. The excitement of Euro 2012 matches being played in Poland and in the Ukraine provides the opportunity to make watching football more accessible. What else the association gives us? Well, the designer of the new stadium in Wrocław could turn to us in the issue of consultation regarding seats that perfectly fulfill their role. Thus arose the stadium in Wrocław, which can be a model for the other facilities in Europe. Because we are an association, Cafe Football could easily find us, so that today we can be together with you at this conference. Thank you for attention.
Thank you.
I'd like to go back to the twinning. We have the first ever twinning of DSAs between Rolleyside from FC Groningen in Holland and Hibernian DSA from Scotland. Now, Hibernian and Groningen as clubs already had a connection. I think it was through a friendly, and their supporters visited each club. And now the DSAs, Rolleyside has been in place for some time, and Hibernian's just started, are going to shake hands on a twinning deal. But just before we say that, Nikki from Hibernian DSA, which recently started, who's the secretary, is just going to say a couple of words that she'd like to add.
Just want to say I have an invisible disability which affects me every day but does not stop me from supporting Hibernian every week. Total football, total accesses for all disabled fans, which I think is a great thing, as everyone has the right to attend football matches no matter what their disability is. CAFE are a brilliant organisation who are giving their full support towards the newly founded Hibernian Disabled Association. I just want to say thanks to Keith for all his support and hard work.
Okay. So I think we're going to have you two, if you'd like to come to the front of the stage, shake hands, and we'll get a photograph. And we'll wish you all the best of the first twinning and hope we'll see many other twinnings in the years to come.